Hello, my dear friend. Today I'm sharing my daily routine with you. My name is Emma Carter, and I live in the United States. I'm on a journey to improve my English, and every day is a step toward fluency. Learning a new language is not just about studying, it's about living it, practicing it in every moment, and immersing yourself in the process. Every conversation, every new word, and every mistake I make is part of the journey, bringing me closer to mastering the language. It's not just about memorizing vocabulary or perfecting grammar. It's about embracing the challenge, stepping out of my comfort zone, and making English a part of my daily life. From the moment I wake up, I try to think in English, narrating my actions in my mind, whether I'm making breakfast, getting ready for the day, or even looking out the window at the changing weather. I describe everything in English. This small habit keeps my mind engaged and helps me build fluency naturally. Throughout the day, I listen to English podcasts, read articles, and practice speaking with friends or language partners. Some days are easier than others. There are moments when words flow effortlessly, and then there are times when I struggle to find the right expression. But I remind myself that every challenge is an opportunity to grow. One of the most important parts of my learning routine is consistency. I set daily goals for myself, whether it's learning 5 new words, writing a short journal entry, or watching an English movie without subtitles. I make sure that no matter how busy my day gets, I dedicate time to improving my skills. Because learning a language isn't about perfection, it's about progress. I celebrate my small victories, understanding a difficult phrase, successfully holding a conversation, or even just feeling more confident when I speak. Practicing English is more than just an academic exercise. It's a window into different cultures, perspectives, and ways of thinking. As I improve, I find myself connecting with people from all over the world, understanding their experiences and sharing my own. It's a journey that goes beyond words. It's about communication, expression, and confidence. And each day, with every lesson learned, I take one more step toward fluency. The sun peeks through my curtains, casting golden streaks of light onto my bedroom walls as I slowly open my eyes, stretching out the sleep that still lingers in my limbs. Another day, another opportunity to immerse myself in my English learning journey. As I lay in bed for a few moments, I let my mind wander, forming thoughts in English rather than my native tongue. It's a habit I've cultivated over time, one that pushes me to internalize the language as something more than just words on a page or phrases I memorize for the sake of practice. I think about my plans for the day, mentally listing them out in English. Breakfast, a morning walk, work, a chat with my language partner, and then some reading before bed. This small exercise, simple yet effective, sets the tone for my day, making English an active part of my thought process rather than something separate that requires conscious effort. After a few more minutes, I finally rise and make my way to the kitchen, where the aroma of freshly brewed coffee fills the air. As I prepare my breakfast, toast, eggs, and a side of fruit, I challenge myself to name each item in English, describing their textures, colors, and flavors in my mind. I've found that associating language with sensory experiences makes words stick better. The toast is crispy and golden brown, I think. The eggs are fluffy and warm. These descriptions, though basic, are stepping stones to fluency. I imagine how I would explain my breakfast to someone else in a conversation, picturing a dialogue in which I describe what I'm eating, how I prepared it, and why I enjoy it. This kind of mental engagement helps bridge the gap between passive knowledge and active usage, making the language feel more natural rather than something I have to reach for when speaking. As I sip my coffee, I pull out my phone and open my language app, scrolling through the daily word list. I make a mental note of the new vocabulary I want to incorporate into my conversations today. Some words are easy to grasp, while others feel foreign, requiring extra effort to remember. I jot them down in my notebook, constructing sentences that help cement them in my memory. Learning words in isolation rarely works, but embedding them in context makes them more meaningful. I remind myself that fluency isn't just about knowing words. It's about understanding how they fit together in real conversations, how they shape meaning, and how they reflect culture. With my morning routine complete, I head outside for a walk, allowing myself to absorb the sights and sounds around me while continuing my English practice. The sky is a brilliant shade of blue, the air crisp and fresh. I take a deep breath and challenge myself to describe my surroundings as if I were explaining them to someone unfamiliar with the area. The trees are swaying gently in the breeze, I think. A couple walks hand in hand, laughing as they stroll down the sidewalk. The distant hum of traffic blends with the chirping of birds. This exercise, though seemingly small, helps sharpen my descriptive skills, making it easier to express myself with fluency and confidence. By the time I return home, it's time to start my work for the day. As I settle into my desk, I remind myself to stay immersed in English, even in moments where it might feel easier to revert to my native language. I set my computer's interface to English, ensuring that every menu, every notification, and every task I complete reinforces my learning. When I take notes, I do so in English, pushing myself to think through complex ideas in my target language. These small shifts may seem minor, but they add up, creating an environment where English becomes second nature rather than something I have to consciously switch to. As the afternoon progresses, I look forward to one of the highlights of my day, my conversation session with my language partner. Speaking is often the most daunting part of learning a language, but I've come to embrace the challenge. I remind myself that mistakes are not failures, but stepping stones to improvement. As I dial into our video call, I take a deep breath, reminding myself to focus on communication rather than perfection. The conversation starts with small talk, discussing our days, sharing what we've been up to. But soon, we dive into deeper topics. Today, we're discussing travel and cultural experiences, a subject that excites me. I listen intently as my partner shares a story about their recent trip, absorbing the nuances of their speech, their intonation, their choice of words. When it's my turn to speak, I do my best to express my thoughts clearly, searching for the right words, but not letting hesitation hold me back. At times, I stumble, reaching for a phrase that escapes me, but I push through, finding another way to convey my meaning. My partner patiently corrects any major errors, offering suggestions that help refine my speech. These moments of real interaction, of authentic conversation, are where true learning happens. Language is not just about studying in isolation, it's about using it, embracing it, and making it a part of everyday life. As our session comes to an end, I feel a sense of accomplishment. I may not be perfect, but I'm improving. Each conversation builds my confidence. Each mistake teaches me something new. And each success reminds me why I started this journey in the first place. I take a few moments to reflect, noting down new words and expressions I encountered during our discussion. This habit of review ensures that I don't just move on without absorbing what I've learned. The day winds down, and as I prepare for bed, I make time for one last language exercise: reading. I choose an article in English, something engaging yet slightly challenging, and immerse myself in the text. As I read, I highlight unfamiliar words, using context clues to decipher their meanings before looking them up. I take note of sentence structures that catch my eye, paying attention to how ideas flow naturally in well-written English. This process not only expands my vocabulary, but also fine-tunes my understanding of grammar and style. Lying in bed, I reflect on my progress, acknowledging both my strengths and areas where I can improve. Learning a language is a journey without a fixed destination. It's a continuous process of growth, adaptation, and discovery. Some days feel like breakthroughs, while others feel like slow progress, but every effort counts. As I close my eyes, I remind myself that fluency isn't achieved overnight. It's built through consistent effort, through daily engagement, through moments of challenge and triumph alike. And with that thought, I drift off to sleep, ready to wake up and do it all over again tomorrow. The quiet hum of the night settles in as I lay in bed, reflecting on the progress I've made. Every word I've learned, every sentence I've spoken, every moment of hesitation that turned into confidence. Each one is a small step on this long journey toward fluency. The road is not always smooth. Some days I feel unstoppable, effortlessly forming sentences, engaging in conversations without fear. Other days, words escape me, grammar feels like an unsolvable puzzle, and frustration creeps in. But that is the nature of learning. Growth is not a straight path. It twists and turns, challenging me to push forward despite the obstacles. I remind myself that every challenge is an opportunity. Every mistake is a lesson. Every struggle is proof that I am trying, improving, becoming better than I was yesterday. As I close my eyes, my thoughts once again drift in English. It's no longer a forced habit, but a natural part of my internal dialogue. I replay conversations from the day, analyzing how I could have expressed myself more clearly. I think of new words I encountered and how I can incorporate them into my speech. Language is more than just a skill. It's a mindset, a way of seeing and interacting with the world. The more I immerse myself, the more deeply I understand its nuances. I realize that fluency isn't just about speaking without hesitation. It's about feeling the language, understanding its rhythm, its flow, its soul. Morning arrives, and the routine begins again, but something feels different. I no longer see English as something I have to learn. I see it as something I live. I wake up and think in English. I make breakfast and describe the aromas, textures, and tastes in English. I listen to music, watch videos, read articles, all in English. It's no longer a separate part of my life, but an integrated, inseparable piece of my identity. This realization fills me with pride. I am not just learning English, I am becoming an English speaker. As I sit down with my morning coffee, I take out my journal and begin writing. The words flow more smoothly than they did months ago. I write about my thoughts, my plans for the day, my reflections on this journey. Writing has become a sanctuary, a space where I can explore the language without pressure, experimenting with new expressions, refining my voice. I make mistakes, but I don't let them discourage me. Instead, I embrace them, knowing that each correction brings me closer to mastery. Later in the day, I engage in another conversation session with my language partner. Today, the topic is personal growth, how learning a new language has changed me. I share my experiences, my struggles, my triumphs. I speak with more confidence, more fluidity, more emotion. My partner notices the difference. "You've improved so much," they say, smiling. I feel a surge of pride. This is what progress looks like. Not perfection, but growth. As the day winds down, I reflect once more. Learning a language is not just about acquiring a skill. It's about transformation. It changes the way I think, the way I express myself, the way I connect with others. It opens doors, expands horizons, deepens understanding. I am no longer just a learner. I am a participant, a communicator, a part of something bigger than myself. And with every passing day, I move closer to the goal I once thought was impossible: fluency. And so, my journey continues. Not with an end in sight, but with a newfound appreciation for the process itself. Because fluency isn't a destination, it's a way of life.